that is there, and that power is great power. You may say that power is light power, and that power is only power. That can say something about you and about you. That's very important. I can't say this. Morally speaking, I can't say that. Really speaking, to be very, very frank, I don't know what's happening here because I'm relying on both YouTube and as well as on, I can say, Facebook daily usual. And COVID-19, your friend, my friend now, friend because it's killing all of us, and sometimes friends are enemies. Sometimes it happens friends too are enemies. So COVID-19, daily news, daily information, daily talk. Brazil president is positive in COVID-19. Current news, Brazil president is COVID, and super spreaders are working in England. Super spreaders going to pub, going to restaurants, going everywhere. They should not go, but they're going because they're allowed to go. This means it's I can say intentional suicides. I can say by through in an environment COVID. It's intentional suicide which should be avoided, but it's not being avoided. Intentional suicide, I can say. COVID-19 is working with efficiency, but public is not working with efficiency. Public is thoughtless, clueless. Public is moving in blind world, blind mind. They are anxious, but not intelligent, not conscious. We are anxious for living, but not conscious. COVID-19 impacted big people and small people all. COVID-19 has crossed millions, crores, I can say. We should not speak of millions now because it's against, you can say, regard of honor of COVID-19. America, England, Bharat, Brazil, Russia, whole Europe, and many other parts, Africa, Gulf, all these, all these places involved, countries involved, I think hardly left one country or two countries should not be named because those are not countries. We should say whole world has been captured by COVID-19, unknown army, unknown army of viruses. This army is very powerful in a sense that it does not care for anyone, it cares for none, it cares for its assignment. And imagine what should be assignment of COVID-19 from superpower. I think that assignment is go and teach lessons by practice, by experiments to these people of world whom I sent to work for me to improve my earth, but they are not improving my earth. They are breaking my earth. They have broken environment. They have broken surfaces of earth, and they have broken everything what they could. So these my children are hopeless, incapable, inefficient, do not use what I given them. I have given them everything, but these foolish children do not understand what I want them to do for me. These children are such stupid people, they don't understand what they should do, what they should not do. There where the problem is. So my statement here is that every day I talk to something about COVID. Today again I am talking to you. COVID has changed according to current information. It is much more dangerous than it was expected to be. It is dangerous because it's not only moves, it doesn't move from one man to other person, one person to other person. It also walks in air. There may be millions of particles staying in air, in suspension, in abeyance. Now, because people are walking on road, people are walking everywhere. They are going to every place in world. Previously, they were in lockdown, so they were at home. If there were some particles, those were in homes, and now they are moving everywhere. And more than 50%, I am sure, as I have witnessed, I have observed, more than 50% public is not happy to use masks. Even one driver, one driver, bus driver in England was killed just because there was a dispute on not wearing mask. So mask has been so important. People sometimes do not respect it and they kill people. It happened in England and understood to be a very civilized nation, but all nation, all public of world has lost senses. I cannot say that now English people are very intelligent or American people are very intelligent. I think all are sailing in same boat, on same ship, sea ship. So you cannot analyze now because humanity has become fool. Even one, if you cannot use your mask, why are you using your pant and shirt? Take it out also. Go without clothes. This is nonsense. It's difficult for you to use your mask. It's difficult for you to protect yourself, to protect your family, to protect your own people. It's difficult for you. I don't understand reason of that. What is the reason of that? You yourself think nobody can teach you. And if you cannot understand this, you are not having any mind. You are mindless, you are blind mentally, and no one can help you. Then COVID is justified there to teach you certain lessons. So COVID 19 is, helping you, helping everybody that way because Corona, Corona virus infectious disease 19, which is also supported by SARS. That means it applies to respiratory system, but don't forget it applies to mind also. It applies to liver also. It applies to other organs also. It may affect your mind. It may affect your senses. It may affect other mind. And already it has affected psychology of human being. Psychology has been affected adversely. People are in depression. People are in anxiety. People are celebrating for what they don't know. They are celebrating that we have come out of our our jail, our lockdown. You have come out of that. You were so in so big in problem. You came out and you are drinking. You are going to clubs. You are going to pubs. What does it mean? Means you are born fool. No one can protect you. No one can help you because whole world public has become fool. If you cannot wear mask, if you cannot just have this little activity, additional activity every day, this means you don't want, means it's an indirect slow poisoning or it's a kind of suicide you're thinking of your suicide and indirectly you think of others to kill because if you are positive, you shall make your family members also positive. That is also true. So we should not forget that when something has happened which is unknown, which has come from where nobody knows, which shall go when nobody knows. And scientists are saying this is not only through nose, this is not only through your mouth. This stays in air because of your coughing or because of your sneezing or because of whatever reason. Millions of particles are available in air all over world. These particles, when you walk on road, when you walk in street, you drive your car, you go on a scooter, these particles you attract. These particles can come into your contact and you consume them. This means you shall certainly be positive. So I don't understand reason why people cannot know this point, cannot realize this point that they are putting themselves to impact of COVID-19. This point is very serious. People should understand if those people who are well secured, like Brazil president, like English PM, like many others involved, if this can reach them, this means this is very powerful. They may recover, it's true. They may recover, of course, because they have backing of medical services with them. Full medical staff is at their service, but that is not an issue. Issue is precautionary measures. Did these people not take precautionary measures? I don't know. Therefore, it's superpower attack on human being that is felt. It's I feel like that because we people are not good. We people don't respect nature. People don't respect something. We have started thinking we are very big, and that's the problem here. We are not big. We are not big. This COVID is big. SARS-2 is big, and scientists have said something, and also they are continuously saying that this can come through sewage water, this can come through ear, this can come through nose, this can come through mouth, this can come through eyes. They already have said that, so we should respect. Combined sewer system can also generate this. Water logging can also generate this. So many points are there. Now rain season, water stags everywhere. It can turn to sewage one time, and then this virus plays there, enjoys that. So we must consider we must consider ourselves subject to virus. That virus is there, and we have to respect its limitations. We have to respect precautionary measures, and if you don't do that, don't depend upon your political leaders because they are selfish people. They do not want to care about people of world. Every country has different politicians and different societies, but don't trust politicians. Again, I say politicians are not sincere people. They are only interested in how to please public, that public should be with them, and that's all. They are not having any other. In this COVID itself, there people are thinking public, political people are thinking for wars. They are thinking for grabbing lands of others. They are thinking to kill others, just like happening in Palestine, happening in Israel, between Israel and Palestine, happening Bharat and China. Means they have even reached to level of war. They've forgotten this COVID is working. They are still thinking of money, they are thinking of war, they are thinking of lands. Means they just want to divert attention from this COVID-19. You are interested in lands of others, in wealth of others, in monies of others. You are not serious about happiness of life. You are not serious about COVID-19 because you are politician. Nobody can do anything against you. But don't forget, COVID-19 can reach you very easily. It knows what you are. COVID-19 knows your values. You are only a politician. Really, you are a robber. You are a thief. Nothing else. You depend on public money. You do not work hard. You do not public service. You do not do that. You don't do that. You only enjoy life at cost of tax, at cost of public. That is what politicians means all over world. I thought politicians are different everywhere, but it is now understood. Politicians are same all over world. They don't care for public. They care only for themselves. They care only for their seats at times to come. And this is really a difficult situation. But public should understand. All that politicians, They won't take your care. You have to take your care. And if you don't take your care, nobody will take your care. You have to take your care. That's fact of life. And if you can't understand that, nobody can teach you. COVID is there to warn you, to alert you. If you don't understand that, you are gone. You are finished. COVID may be there for 10 years. It may be there for 5 years. Nobody knows. It may never go. Nobody knows. Therefore, Therefore, try to understand what it means by this. That's very important point. If you don't understand, you will certainly suffer. Nobody will stop you. You will certainly suffer. Nobody can stop you. That's what I say. And I hope that you got understanding of what I'm saying. And now there is nothing more than I should tell you about COVID-19 for this time, this day, because I'm not getting very good news. I'm not getting anything, any more information other than I told you. So I will stop here for COVID-19 and move to management, move to contracts, or move to something else, move to materials, general specifications as I have to continue, and I'll move to other issues like management, and I'm a issue this management, quality management, total management, engineering management, and I then have moved to other one general, and then I may move to other one that is so like this I may move many, and I remove this mask now, indicative one for you people that that life is working like that. So back to you in the original form. This was just indicative form. I want you to give a message. Be careful. This doesn't mean that I need this at the moment just for indicative purpose. I put this cloth on my face. Now back to normal. This time of COVID, we should take it normally now with careful, with care. Care yourself. Care for everyone. And it's your duty if you're educated to tell people, be careful, to advise them, and if possible force them, because sometimes people don't understand. They think because political people have open lockdown, they think it's free, we are free now. Means this is misconception. You are free. Lockdown was imposed for some purpose, and that purpose was that they should have preparation time how to deal with this situation. But I think people took it differently, and because politicians could not explain anything because they didn't know, they just showed to world we have lockdown, and now they're showing to world we are withdrawing lockdown, and we are coming to normalcy. And that normalcy is everyday cases rising, infections are rising. Infections are rising every day rapidly, with high speed, not with low speed, high speed. When this lockdown was started in Bharat, India, I think it's around 500 some infections were, and now you see it has crossed 7.7 million. It has crossed this official figure. Unofficial could be 2 million, 3 million, I don't know, because all lies, all the world is full of lies. Real news are always concealed. That's fact of life. So, management, because I'm talking management means life everywhere has to be managed from birth to death. Management or organization or reorganization, and again, all this goes on and on and on. And you have been managing since your schooling, but you are not clear about that. You're managing or you're not managing. That point we have to understand now at this stage. I'm not doing any research on that. The fact remains that we are also managing. Without management, We cannot move, we cannot survive. That's also fact of life. Term management, it's like obsolete term. I consider myself obsolete because who is managing? What's man? Man is man. Why should man be there only? Why not woman? Can we say woman management? No, we don't say woman management. We say only management. And you should wear woman manage. You say who management? The Buddhist is saying that because they say man includes woman, just like he includes she. She includes he includes she, and his includes her. You have decided yourself conventionally that this includes that. What's the problem if you don't include, exclude? No, he or she, her or his. Like, what's wrong with that? Why don't you respect other human being? What's difference of male and female? Mentally, no difference. Physically, there's difference. I agree. But what is difference mentally? And combination two, if you combine two, there is generation. This means generation is based on both male plus female is equal to human being. Shall you not call it original organization? Amalgamation or augmentation or coagulation or cohabitation, whatever word you can use it, of man and woman or male and female equal to another person, new home newcomer. This means this is original realistic organization. Original organization. Should you not call it this way? Only original organization is, or you can say, man womanagement. It is womanagement. If I say woman includes men, you shall not like it to hear. Woman includes man. If you say man includes woman, you are I am man, or she is woman, she includes me. I include her. Who includes whom? This is your mindset. You know very well. Without her, you are not able to bring third party to your life. Yes, if you want to stay alone, that is different story. I'm not saying. But if you want to expand yourself as a family person, you want to generate your family, you need another gender. That is fact of life. And not only for you, also among all creatures within universe. So I can say woman includes man, that is analytically correct and that is article wise correct because who man age met. But you don't say you don't like it, you'll say I am talking feminine. Yes, I am talking feminine, I am not talking masculine. Because I am talking facts. And people don't like facts. Here management or co-management, or you can say organization, natural organization, real organization commences with. When God does that, God organizes through combination of both what you and what I am. Nothing. What you are. What I am. In the bubble of water. Why should I have pride in saying I am man? I am man, she is my woman. And I am woman, she is my man. Okay, you both are equal in that case. But point lies in condemn this world management or home management and say organization. Original organization is this. and original within the original organization. In both is this dome. You may call it dome, you may call it hard disk, you may call it computer, you may call it system, you may call whatever you call brain or mind or home of soul. You have every assumption to understand this. But it remains fact, it remains as a fact that here lies every radar, here lies your orbit, here lies your satellite. It's not say this portion is void. There is nothing here, nothing say it's empty. What shall be your status? Shall you be able to think? Shall you be able to know something? Shall you be able to see something? Shall you be able to identify someone? Shall you be able to remember something? In all questions, answers are no, 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 and no. My nose is no value, my eyes are no value, my mouth is no value, and my whole body got no value if this is free. This is empty. Do you understand this? Then what's difference between a dog and myself, a cat and myself? They may think even if this is not there inside, I won't even understand that I have to take my food. Though I am living, body is not dead, mind doesn't exist. So I am only body, not active body, not thinking body, not working body, just a body. I am just trying to explain this is where organization starts. If this mind does not is not available in you, with you, for you, you are nothing but a tree, a log, a material, useless material. Means you don't know anything. Your origin on earth starts from here. Actually, only this is your reality. To be very frank, only this is your reality, no other reality. All other systems below this, all other systems below this are supporting systems. Supporting systems. To be very frank, it's a supporting system. There is electricity in our body, and that's called soul. This is, you may call it energy, you may call it electricity, you may call it sun power, you may call it whatever power you can call. There is static current, there is dynamic current, there is moving current, there is sun current, there is soul current, there is power current. All currents move through your body, and this is first supporting system, this is second supporting system, this is third supporting system. Aren't they? Systems, I am saying. There is a system here, these are cameras here. Can't you say that? If your mind is there, if these cameras don't tell something to your mind can't act, can't react. Same thing, there you can say voice here, audio here, your audio. You can say ventilation here, this is ventilation. Just take it differently. This is your fuel chamber, and this is your design architecture here. You can say this is my architecture, just like say oh building architecture or computer architecture. When I couldn't understand what do you mean by computer architecture, where is building there? I didn't understand the system of architecture. Architecture system, how does it look, how smart, how beautiful it is, how smallest it is or how biggest it is different kind of architecture. So this is master here or leader here. This is system number one. System number one. This system is actually controller, central control system. Central control system, or you can say central control building. Building of this body, this is central control building. Then go down. There's a support here. This is information support. This is also information support. Physical working means it without that, this cannot work. So this is active system here. Here is engine also. Here is, you can say, fuel storage here too, and there's a machine here which process your current that way and this way both, to dispose scrap out, to dispose sludge out, and to use current to allow everything out. And then there's a system that allows to be dynamic or stationary both way. So this is mobile machine, you can say. It is mobile machine because it can sit, it can stand, it can walk, it can run. So is it not an integrated system? You think this is one, this is two, this is three, this is four, or any number. You cannot say it's a train of processes or process train in plants. Plants, you mean to say, just like refinery, just like power stations, like coal power station, or you can say hydro power stations, or nuclear power stations, and many such circulating plant, process plant, which are very big in sizes. They are big, so big. Destination is a small, but system is very big. So are we not integration of many systems into one system that is called human? Now human may be different. Male human, female human, other humans, like all animals. We have different organs with us, different functions, all those are. We understand that nobody can teach us. We know what is function of nose, what are function of eyes, what are function of ears, and as I told you, audio system, ventilation system, fuel systems, camera system, and then support system for management of this. You can say management system here for this body. You can say supporting organization. You may say, and then there is a mobile system down, keep you mobile, keep you stationary, whatever you want. Can't we understand organization here? If this is not organization, then what is organization? We have to study self first. They say you have to study self. This is what I'm studying self. Why should some book tell me? Here is book. Two conditions, either something is here or there is nothing. You see yourself, you can see this person cannot think a lot. This person have a weak mind, or this person is very angry all time. Why is that person very angry? We have to analyze that situation. Or this person doesn't speak much but thinks a lot. Or this person only talks and talks, never thinks. We consider that this person is very intelligent. This person thinks so many years ahead. All these properties do come from somewhere. And where is that machine that makes us think like that? Machine is here. This means actually we are here. Only this portion is my identification. Others are not my identification. Simply saying my identification is only this. Why should I not understand this way? My identification is my semi hemisphere, you can say hemisphere. This is my hemisphere. Have you understand hemisphere or don't understand hemisphere? Hemisphere, I mean to say, just like Earth or egg or ball. Ball is sphere, you know, it may be small ball or big ball, that is sphere, spherical. And you just make it in two pieces, equal pieces, it becomes hemisphere. That's what hemisphere is all about. So, so I say, my survival is my totality is actually my intelligence is my identification is not because of my portrait, not because of my portrait, but because of this. But this is not seen, this is not displayed in here, but reflection comes from here, information comes from here. My satellite orbits here, my satellite my satellite orbits here and takes information from those satellites with God. The serial organization, such organization which never locks down, which never shuts down, and which never puts on fire itself, which never is affected by atmosphere, which is never affected by some grade or something. If it works, and it's not that it works in so many hours, it does not stop working. See, brilliance of this. When you join this earth and when you leave this earth, there's a long gap for everybody. Somebody has 100 years, somebody has 200 years, somebody has 5 years, somebody immediately 2 or 3 years, depending upon what is your life, what is your age. If you take that into consideration, here you understand what is organization. This is external, I told you, and internal, I told you, because this is body, this is unit. Though there are many units in this, all units are combined, as I said, here, and this is assembled together. Or you can say, God does not assemble, God works from whole to part. There are two ways to work, in engineering, whole to part and whole to part or part to whole. Do you understand what I mean? When we say whole to part, it's called natural working. Whole to part. And we say, no, it's part to whole. This is human working. Human cannot work from whole to part because for that, total knowledge is required. Total knowledge, total secrecy is required to be revealed. And human is not that entity who knows secrecy, full secrecy of universe. So we say human works from parts to whole. When what you see, you design a machine, right? You design a building, right? You design a car, right? You design whatever you design, you can design. But you never design something in whole. You design only in parts. Or how many spare parts this machine has, how many connections this machine has. We have to manufacture all these parts separately, then assemble them after testing. We say that this means we assemble to create one machine, whatever sort of machine. One machine may have 20 parts, one machine may have 50 parts. It depends upon size and design and function of machine, how many parts we have to manufacture after design and how many parts. All of them are assembled. But what I say, our body is not from parts to whole, but from whole to part. And when you go from whole to part, you will find exact sizes, exact controls, because you start from overall control. When you start from overall control and come down, you are having better control. And if then you start from down, so you start assembling each part, it may change its final size. This can happen because you have no idea. You just design something, keep and there may be error of one part or two part, and that error can accumulate to whole system. So my body is a system or a combination of systems. I can say big combination. How combination? Head system, face system, arm system, chest system, stomach system, hips system, and then I'm talking about externally legs system, feet system, and a combination of that. And there are many systems in this: ear system, eye system, head system, nose system, lips system, tongue system, teeth system, arm system, chest system, breast system, stomach system, abdomen system, hip system, anal system, digestion system, and leg systems, and all that. And there are systems within system. So what I'm saying is, if God designs from whole to part, this is God. God's unit of construction is very different. It's unknown unit. It's no part, but chemical reaction. What God does not produce any part. My body was not producing parts. It was produced by chemicals, biochemicals, biochemicals, microbiochemicals, micro, just like you see virus. Now, you know size of that. Just think how it will be. We always say virus, 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 but does somebody tell you about this, about this biology, about microbiology, about super microbiology? People rarely know about that. That is where beauty of God lies in, beauty of God's design. This is comprehensive composition and comprehensive size of this. What does it contain? Nobody knows. What sort of chemical it contains? Nobody knows. We only say virus, virus, virus. But after all, virus is a name. It's a phenomenon. But what does it contain? Point is that we don't know that because we have not seen it. We have not seen it in clear terms. And until we see it, we cannot do further research on that. When it doesn't come into our electronic equipment, how can you see that? Similarly, our body has many chemicals of all sizes, and that chemical contains actually expansion power, thriving power, chain power, and automatic building power, which is really called chemistry, biochemistry, microbiochemistry, and whatever we call it. Water particle, we call it. But water is also whole, it's not in parts. It may be having billions and trillions particles, but composition is unique. There is no chain reaction in that, but it's all billions and trillions particle or size elements work together. Thus, there's a composition like H2O, two parts hydrogen, one part oxygen. That we know. There is a combination of chemical bases. So every body is based by chemical composition. I don't know how many chemicals within me are. Maybe doctors do not know. They study limited. What doctor studies only something to understand function of body or varying specialties and to treat them, not more than that. Because in couple of years you cannot know more than that because body cannot be cut out life. We cannot see its real functions in life. So much complication has been created by Almighty, by God, that you can't reveal my secrets to yourself. My secrets and my secrets. But He has not left anything. God has given you everything. If you have a capacity, you know it. If you don't have capacity, just use it and come back. Use is free. You use whatever you want to use. But as far as secrecy is related to it, that's my right. If I like it, I find that you're suitable for that. You're honest, you're sincere, You will not abuse my secrecy, then God gives it to that gentleman or woman. It is called research or innovation. You may say exponential work. I would not say research is that important, but exponential work is much more important and significant than research. That exponent work is original. It's not relative work. It's not that I learned it through that book, through this book. I give 50 references of books and say that this is my book. Then that book is not original. That book is based on those 50 references. That's what I say. We have to understand. We have to understand basics behind what we organize. No organization I can say is original. No management is original. No education is original. No system is original as today in world. Everything is linked to something else. I have not seen a single book in whatever discipline that is free of references, free of sources. I have taken this, from that. They will write 3 pages of references in a book of 200 pages or 100 pages. Because we are just saying we are writing book, we are not original writer. We are not original composers. So that's what I say. No one is original manager who manager. No one is original writer. No one is original organizer. Just like my body, only mind is original. Mind, I said head, brain, whatever power remains there in form of mind, conscious, soul, that is original. Other parts are permanently linked together, but control remains in hands, in powers and spectrum of mind. This point we should understand very well. Absence of understanding such point means waste of time. We can't understand something else without this. You might be thinking why I am telling this is not related to management. Maybe you think that it's not related to management, but fact also remains that this is really organization. Thinking. It's very small word, thinking. But don't forget, this is a real word. Without thinking, you cannot do anything. And because it is thinking, it is only thinking that that leads you to everywhere. It's only thinking. Sometimes you are sitting alone in room, you are doing nothing, you are not concentrating on anything, you are doing nothing. You are not writing, you are not doing some work, you are just sitting relaxing. Either what happens, you have to sleep. You either sleep or you immerse in thinking of something, some point comes to your mind, you keep on thinking and thinking and thinking. Why? Because your mind is smart, your mind is active, your mind can't sit idle. It's not its habit to sit idle. Your mind is active. If your mind is sleepy, then it will sleep. If your mind is searching for something you are not searching for, or you try to search something, you stop because you could not search. But mind will not stop. Mind cannot stop without giving you answers to your problem. This is beauty of mind. Mind is your real friend, your servant. In that case, it is your servant not from below, from above. It serves you. This is original organization. My head, for me, for my totality, my total body. This is head is original organization. And head to other heads, then to another heads. We are not say I'm linking my feet to your feet. I am linking my this to we say, okay, I'll link myself to yourself through this medium, through that medium. Ultimately, minds are linked. If our minds are not, in alliance with each other. We can't even talk to each other. We may talk, but we skip soon because there is a difference of opinion. When we generally use this term, there is a difference of opinion. What does it mean? It means that my mind does not agree you with your point. Though we are not enemies, but difference of opinion exists. In our world of construction, this is very big organization, we can say. Construction is very big organization always, because this is not simple construction on site. This is first construction comes into mind. It comes into designs. They think what to construct, how to construct. Design, they call themselves designer of this, they call design engineers, or they may call also something like structural engineer. But design is everywhere. Design everywhere it is. You can design everything everywhere. So we say, I'm talking of construction. So construction includes design. If there is no design, you can't construct anything. And what does a design mean? When we say design, what does it mean? DESIGN. Did you think of this? What does it mean? Designation comes from design, sign comes from design, or design comes from sign. DESIGN. If you just take out D, what means? Sign. This means when you do something, you sign on that. So that is design. So simple. Article meaning. My design, your design, we say, this is my design, this is your design. That is true. This means this is my thought, this is your thought. This means this is my capability, this is your capability. This means is that. What is that? Here you design something, not because you know it, because you have such mind, you have such capacity on your mind that your mind can think to that level where you determine and design something, produce something, tell others on that design, this is what I want to communicate. Your design is not simple design then, it's a message to other person who reviews it or who studies it. That person then studies your minds through that piece of information. This is also management. This means here communication management starts. Communication procedures or communication system starts. Organization starts. So I am just trying to say how can we say about evolution of management or evolution of, we can say, like tenability. Tenability. This is what I'm saying is packability. Something very strong, something unchallengeable. No one can challenge properties of mind, bad or good, negative or positive, optimism or pessimism. Nobody can force me what should I think or what should I not think, because this is beyond control of science, beyond control of recognition. This organization is very complicated and very easy as well. If you understand this body organization, there is no organization world, no organization. Again, I refer to you solar system. I refer to you because reason being that is best organization, original perfect organization. Such organization you cannot do in this world. system, solar system, and many, many more systems in nature unknown to us. If we understand nature, we understand ourselves. Simple. If we know nature, we know ourselves. We know nature differently, not rightly. We don't want to be part of nature, but we want to use nature for our benefit. That is our you can say weakness. We want to use materials nature give us just for our economic use, not otherwise. We forget that what organization does exist in nature should not be disturbed because God thought, I don't know how many times, and then delivered us this. I should say, delivered us. Because God provided this for generations to come, and this is automatic. Unfortunately, this is not manual. Every process of God, every process, every chemical action, every process of God is permanent and automatic. We may boost, we are automatic, we have automatized office, we have this and that, we have automatic car, we have driverless metro, we have this and that. We can boost everything. Boosting is like booster pump. We boost it and pump water goes up. Nothing else. What automation we have brought to our life, our thinking, our system are still not in our control. We are not automatic. We are showing that we are automatic. We are not learning anything from nature. We are not learning anything from our body. But we want to exploit nature and we want to exploit our body, our lives. We think that we are permanent here where we make mistake. No one is permanent here. No one. How can you be permanent? We do not exist here. Do you exist here? Do you belong to this earth? No. Fact remains that you belong only for few years, not entire world time. You may not say, I am going to stay for 50,000 years or 1 million years. Can somebody say that? Nobody can say that. This means you are not permanent here. We may call I am permanent, but fact is we are not permanent, nobody is permanent. We are here for some ticket and we leave one day safely from here. This is where organization should be different. Who can make perfect organization then? Who can make? Only those people who understand what is required to be done. What is required to be done? That's more important. Even then, even then, if you plan or if you organize that way, this requirement we can fulfill through this organization. Even then, this organization can't be that perfect as expected to be. This mind or mind of everybody, why is it like this? What happens sometimes? You feel little uncomfortable. Your mind responds, no, I'm not responding, it says. It generally happens that sometimes mind doesn't respond. You say you sit in room for few hours or see nothing and do work or do nothing and see everything. Watch movie and do something. You will feel relaxed. Or don't do anything, just your files are there for always. You run as your father. You tell you I'm have a son, and I'm writing this book. So it's life. If I do something like this, what happens? Some relief because there was some energy moving here, and I do like this. Maybe this moves that end or this end. I don't know. But from this point, this is dissipated. It can go here or it can go there. This is what automation is about. I did nothing. I just applied little pressure. That's all. Can't you think this way? This is where beauty lies in. This is where thinking lies in. Think, think, think. I say think. I can say with guarantee, thinking can never be lost. Thinking, what is this? Thinking, thinking, and thinking. If you are used to thinking, management or co-management, organization, organization, organ. There are many, many people in one group. They are all organs. All are organs. And we further European of skilled people or other skilled people. They can go and get water from there without anything. But is that true? Those groups of people who are separately sitting but working for one, I tell you, working for one, though they are different, we call them organization members. But organization is whole. In that organization, maybe some disciplinary organizations that is different. There may be different disciplines. That's something different. But that is an organization. So what is purpose of that organization? Only that company decides how many how many people are required. The company can decide. I'm not talking a commercial issue of that. Why I am telling all this? Just to explain to you, nothing is very special. Nothing. Nothing is special. Every issue is normal. Don't think management is very big subject. No, it's not big. It's not big. Everything been very big. Had been very serious. Everybody would have been organized. Everybody. Rain, summer, winter, cold, breeze, flood, havoc, volcano, lightning. What is behind that? Organization must be understood first. Without understanding, don't use it. Because It is only indicative, not real. Your name is something else in organization, but you are doing something else. This often happens. There is lack of expression from both person who's making organ chart. That person knows what is organs. What is this. No problem. Let's move further. Let me take some water first. It's not very hot yet. Water is a must. I am just trying to throw something onto you. Gossip. I am happy to make gossip sometimes because if I'm not giving you any reference from book, but I am talking seriously. Remember, I am talking seriously. It's innovative talk I am making to you. It's not referral talk. How do scientists work, or how did they work before when there was no university? It was only based on thoughts and thinking and no reference. Now we are slaves of references. We have been slavery of references. That's why we are saying we are scientists and we are engineers or we are doctors. But when origin starts, there is no resource, no reference. This is reference then. This means you change your conduct. Change your conduct. Generally, we say critical thinking. We say only, but do we do that? Say only, think critically. Tell me who's thinking critically. Nobody's thinking critically. They are thinking referrally. Can you think critically? Think. It's very serious. Very serious. You can't think. Because you are not educated to think that way. Make yourself that way, it's very good. No problem to it. Only problem is starting. Just like for every every big job, there's a problem in starting. Start it. Start. Be starter. Be initiator. Or the original originator. Yes, I know you need some encouragement, or you have to be strong enough to move alone because everybody wants to move with someone else, which is not called leadership. Leadership means lead. Lead. What does it mean? It means you are alone. First, you have to lead yourself. And if you can lead yourself, then you can lead others. Because when you lead yourself, you are your own leader. If you are your own leader means you are well developed. And if you have confidence now, I do it. No doubt. Indeed, I do it. Do it. Only problem comes with first step and second step, a little more. And but when you do it, yes, there will be some problem. Certainly some problem, not uncertainly, certainly there will be problem. There is no ambiguity in that you shall find difficulty. But that difficulty is solvable, is removable when you are leader. You are not resource leader, you are original leader. You have generated here something and you are leader based on that generation. But how many people do it? How many people? They will say long hierarchy in organization, functionless, functionless hierarchy. That's why there's a show business, not quality business. Show business only. When there is real business, you shall get quantity and quality and at every stage from beginning to end. And if you get all that stage complete systematic, quality and quantity, it's great. Which where we are working that way? Tell me one. This is what I want to communicate to you. What is organization and what is management and so called. I am telling you who management. Management plus who management equal to organization. Organization. We are going to build organ ourselves. Not one organ, many organs. And it's a organ plus organ plus organ plus organ, laying together horizontally or vertically or x-axis, y-axis or in spatial form, z-axis. We call it organized structure of our company, organized structure of our organization or company. We start calling that. Do you understand this point? If you understand this point, you will benefit in your life. Yes, every organization is different. Every organization is different. No organization is same, and they can't be same because they have some resources. No problem. Now it's only phenomenal base I try to tell you. I try to tell you. Now we jump to something else. I'm not going to talk about what we were talking yesterday about general movement. Something is there. Still I am on management, and that is what I say. It's this one I'm still on that. It's project engineering management, quality engineering, and all that. Like this or like that, whatever you can take this. This is I'm talking about that. Manage. What field you are doing, you have to decide. What field I'm doing, I'm to decide. My field is engineering, management, or engineering organization, construction and design, all that come within the field. I am a original. I'm not saying original. I am a duplicate, triplicate engineer. civil engineer. My organization is having many repetitions. Engineering itself is big organization, big word. Civil engineering, civil engineering means public engineering, you can say. What we do, whatever we do, whatever, public uses it. All public use it. If I make road, everybody uses it. If I make a drain, everybody uses it. If I make toilet, everybody uses it. If I give water supply, everybody uses it. If I make a house, everybody uses it. Tell me one construction that I do, people don't use it. Even I construct, if I make one, a cremation ground, everybody uses it. This means civil means for civil society. Of course, it is for defense also. Let us say for civil society. So civil person should be very civilized, right? As is possible. No. Civil person is very much uncivilized because if you are civilized, you are a fake person. Simple saying, natural living cannot be civilized. Yes, ethics, I say. Civilized we are, some people say. No, you are not civilized. My profession is civilized, I can say. My profession is civilized because it is first of all rough profession. It's a profession where we work in a different way. All sections of people are involved. All sections. Illiterate people, literate people, scholars and non-scholars, all work in this field. So if you want to see real functioning of organization, I think this is best profession. Understand? Best profession is civil engineering to understand what is organization. We as civil engineer, I have to deal with top people. I have to deal with bottommost people. I have to deal with the guard. I have to deal with the cleaner, which is left hand, right? This means we have to deal with materials also. We have to deal with designs also. We have to deal with execution also. Where is white work here? All work are blue, all work are black. We have to deal with dust, aggregates, cement, sand. Right? We have to deal with that. I have not seen any any civil engineer who is used to site work, site activities. All sites are is assumed. It is, it is, this power of civility, this power of surveillance, this power of supervision is very useful. It's very useful. Handling human resources, handling equipment, handling material, handling other valuable documents are very important from several kind of view. Very important. Okay, now because it's already 1 and 20, 1 minute, 1 hour and 20 minutes over, I like to discuss something on general, and that general means little discussion on that, and you move to FIDIC. This general, I'm going to discuss something on that, not very long because yesterday I took time on this, and today I don't want to take whole time on this, sometime, and then FIDIC. Sorry. Sorry. Now I open a file, and I think that file is for material. I little do on that, then. Sorry, gentlemen, sorry. Mm. We're talking of what are we talking of? I think we're talking of excavation yesterday, warning signs, and we talked about warning signs, confined spaces, lifting operations. So we'll say confined space lifting operations and lifting gears, so scaffolding. So let's say confined spaces. Yesterday we talked of warning signs. I think we concluded yesterday at warning signs, and these warning signs means for excavations. I just repeat that para and we'll move to further talk. That para was warning signs for excavations, and this is according to Qatar Civil Specifications General, that is Section 1. Uh, It said that yesterday, today I will repeat. Uh, Sorry, I'm saying just a problem, so the problem. Uh, Yesterday I put some time on YouTube also. I could not find that video where it's located. So today again I am doing this. I don't know whether I am finding this or not. So I take a little bit of this URL. So if I miss that, I can find it. Let me put this on my file itself, just for purpose of reference, so that I don't miss it again. Uh, just for that purpose, only for that purpose, I'm putting it little, and you know, just for that purpose. Let me put it. YouTube connection here. Otherwise, I may miss it. I know. So using that. Wow, it's okay. No problem. I move to again same in this YouTube actually. This studio page, studioyoutube.com, video PO6, whatever number is live streaming. Yesterday I missed it, so I just taken it back. Now, this I'm talking to you, warning signs of. Now, this is warning signs. Contractors shall I maintain clean and legible throughout course of contract, enough traffic diversion signs and accordance with Qatar work zone traffic, management guide and additional warning signs and guides. Now, in this is a list given now. Is additional area that require warning signs and barriers are this excavation over 1.2 meter deep. I think just a minute, please. Excavation over 1.2 meter deep, and excavation over 1.2 meter deep. Maybe I wait a minute. Let me explore this little for my sake. Okay, I can read it now. No problem then. All right. Yes. Excavations over 1.2 meter deep Any edge, any edge opening or platform from where a person may fall more than 2 meter. This 2 meter is height, which above which you should make control from falling, and electrical transformers and substations, then confined space entry points, and areas below and around working at height and heavy lifting operations, and areas of open water more than 1 meter deep, areas where flammable goods are stored, areas where radiation sources are used or stored, areas where work sites that are classed on non-construction areas, areas within non-construction areas where construction activity is ongoing, areas below overhead utilities, areas above underground services, areas where test and commissioning activities are ongoing. This is a list. It says warning signs. This means we have to set up and maintain cleaned and legible throughout course of throughout course of contract. Enough traffic signs or diversion signs in accordance with law. And this is what it is giving. Additional areas also there which require warning signs and various area. This list of additional areas than those which are given for necessary areas. So these additional areas I will speak again, because this is a list about uh, 13 points are there. Excavation, as I said, excavation over 1.2 meter deep, whatever edge opening or platform from where a person may fall more than 2 meter, electrical transformer and substations, confined confined space entry point, areas before and around working at height and area lifting operations, and area of open water more than 1 meter deep, open water more than 1 meter deep, and areas where flammable goods are stored, and and you can say areas where radiation sources are used or stored, and areas within work sites that are classed as non-construction areas, and areas within non-construction areas where construction activity is ongoing, and and areas below overhead utilities, and areas above underground services, and areas where test and commissioning are ongoing. Now, what about as the warning signs? Well, what says warning signs will clearly state, they must clearly state that nature of hazard and instruct people of correct action to take. Warning signs shall be manufactured in accordance with internationally recognized standards. All signs shall be produced in English or and Arabic and languages preferred, or you can say can be understood by workers on work port. All safety barriers and barricades are to comply with Qatar Work Zone Traffic Management Guide. Now we come to confined spaces. Confined spaces. After all, just a minute. Confined space. Just a minute. I want to hold on for a moment. I want to just little stretch myself. Just a minute, please. Don't mind it. I just want to stretch myself. Entry into a confined space. It is called entry into a confined space shall only be permitted where a competent person is appointed. Competent person is appointed to directly supervise work. Understand? Entry into confined space shall only be permitted where a competent person is appointed to directly supervise work. Competent person shall hold certificate of training of license that that is issued by a third party. Competent person shall be appointed in writing by contractor, and appointment shall be copied to employer. Just this switch only, nothing else. Okay. Alright. Now now it says this is number one, confined space I'm talking, and it says that it also says that whatever person that enters into confined space, whosoever enters, shall whosoever enters into that confined space shall have received formal training, formal, not informal, formal, confirmed training, regular training in safe methods, in safe methods of entry, not unsafe methods, in the methods of entry and working in a confined space. Such training shall include arrangements for emergency communication and response. Emergency communication and response. In addition, every person that enters into a confined space shall be given a briefing by appointed competent person. Right? What it says that every person that enters into a confined space will be given a briefing by appointed competent person related to or relating to specific hazards of work and control measures that have been detailed in job hazard analysis. Right? That is point here. Now, person that acts as an attendant, that person who acts as an attendant for confined space work shall have received formal training in safe methods how to rescue how to rescue from a confined space and arrangements for emergency communications with external emergency services. How to escape, that training must be with him. He must have been trained how to rescue someone trapped in that confined space, and how to call emergency services, how to call by using communication methods. This information that person who attends outside must have to use when there is an emergency. Contractor shall permit trained workers. Contractor shall not permit untrained workers. Contractor shall permit only trained workers for this purpose. Now, trained workers for this purpose under direct supervision of an authorized competent person, authorized competent person with confined space attendant, confined space attendant. Contractors shall permit only trained workers under direct supervision of an authorized competent person ex- with confined space attendants present to enter a confined space. Now, internal combustion engine shall not be taken into a confined space or often now says we cannot take internal combustion engine or IC engine into a confined space or operated in a position where their exhaust gases may be drawn into confined space. Even gases of that engine, IC engine, should not be released into confined space. So it's written here is internal combustion engines shall not be taken into confined space or operated in a position where their exhaust gases may be drawn into confined space. Persons entering into a confined space shall wear a full body full body rescue harness that is attached to a rescue line anchored outside confined space. Means whoever enters into confined space must wear full body rescue harness that is attached to a rescue line anchored outside confined space. Contractor shall implement a safe working procedure to confined space entry that includes following. What does it include? Preparation of a confined space entry permit. Preparation of a confined space entry permit. Provision of all equipment necessary for entering into and working in confined space, including access, lighting, mechanical ventilation, gas detectors, communication, personal protective equipment, and emergency rescue equipment. What are these? Just think of. These are access, first of all, right? You have to enter. You need lights because it's confined space, it's dark. What else you need? Mechanical ventilation. Means you should be there. There should be air coming in from whatever source. Either you use some machine or something from outside, or ventilation should be there. Whatever way you have to arrange. That's called mechanical ventilation. Gas detectors you should have with you because gas existing possibility there is a must. Gas may be existing there, and then communication or communication and then personal protective equipment that we call PPUs. Then emergency rescue equipment after PPE. Emergency rescue equipment. Now, all such equipment will be or shall be manufactured in accordance with internationally recognized standards. Then you can say provision of warning signs and barriers around confined space entry point. So nobody other than those who are inside can enter confined space. There is a warning sign and barrier at entry point. Then setting out emergency communication and rescue equipment. Setting out emergency communication and rescue equipment. Issue of a permit to enter confined space. There must be a permit to enter confined space. As I told you, cold work, hot work permits you have to take from operating authority. Then issue of a permit to enter confined space and checking in atmosphere inside confined space. And then installation of ventilation equipment. Installation of lighting. Installation of lighting. And then entry into and work in confined space means after lighting and ventilation facilities or entries are available, management is available, enter into work, enter into and work in confined space. Monitoring of conditions in confined space. Continuous continue checking, continuous checking and recording of all serious. The point is monitoring conditions of confined space, continuous checking and recording of all persons entering into and exiting from confined space by confirmed space attendant. Completion of work and removal of all equipment from confined space. Completion of work and removal of all equipment from confined space and accounting for all persons. Accounting for all persons and equipment that entered confined space. Securing entry point to confined space and closing confined space entry permit. So this is process of that. Then we go to lifting operation now. Lifting operation. Confined space, what you have seen, what is confined space. Lifting means what? Lift, simple, put out. Some more artists to keep myself active. If you want to get that. Okay. Sorry, gentlemen, I just So, lifting operations. Contractors shall appoint a competent lifting operations supervisor for work site. Competent supervisor, lift supervisor. Lifting operation, lifting operation supervisor has to ensure that requirements of these specifications are met at all times. Means that person has to make sure that whatever specifications in this document require must be complied with. Rigging of loads and signaling of cranes shall be undertaken, has to be undertaken only by trained and competent persons. All riggers shall be required to wear a blue construction safety helmet, blue construction safety helmet, and a red high visibility vest. Red high visibility vest for purpose of easy identification on work site. First of all, that person who is there, that person who is controlling that, who is monitoring that, signals of cranes and rigging of roads, that person must be trained and must be a competent one. Must have blue, blue, you can say, construction safety helmet, blue color, and red high visibility vest for purpose of easy identification on work site. Cranes shall only be operated. Crane can only be operated by trained and competent operators who are who possess an operator's license. Operator's license, right? Operator's license. Let me go to that. Operator's license. No disturb for nothing else. Then can say cranes be operated by trained and competent operators who are in possession of operator's license issued by third party. In addition, appropriate driving license, Qatari driving licenses are required for all mobile equipment. A thorough examination of each lifting appliance. A thorough examination of each lifting appliance or lifting item has to be made by a third party inspector at periods not exceeding 12 months. Lifting appliance, that appliance lifts up to 12 months, and after substantial re-erection, alteration or repair, load capacity to be displaced. Okay, now see, before before a mobile crane is positioned, hmm, let's just minute. Why this is disturbing this? I don't understand people why they want to disturb. Unnecessary they're calling, unnecessary. Bloody fools, you know. It it's just disturbing for nothing. I'm talking something important and they come in poke there some sort for what they are not interested in talking anything, just calling. So what I was saying is again disturb and disturb all time. So in a thorough examination of each lifting appliance has to be made by third party inspector. Lifting appliance I'm talking at periods not exceeding 1 year or 12 months and after substantial re-erection. Alteration or repair load capacity to be displayed. All lifting appliances on work site. All lifting appliances on work site must have a copy of manufacturer's operating manual and load rating charts. Load rating charts available for use and kept with operator cabinet or machine. So appliance must be, you know, you can say a lifting appliance of work site must have a copy of manufacturer's operating manual and what is about rating load rating charts for use and kept with operator, cabinet or machine. Before a mobile crane is positioned for a lift, attention must be paid to conditions of ground upon which crane stands, as this shall be subject to high point loadings from outriggers or tires. Dependent upon nature of ground and or size of crane to be used, a special hard standing may may have to be prepared. To be prepared. Maximum safe working, maximum safe working wind and say maximum safe working wind speed for construction activity and in particular lifting operations and working at height activities 25 knots. Construction shall monitor weather conditions and suspend work when wind speeds in and say speeds in excess of maximum safe working speeds are anticipated. So what it says? It says maximum safe working speed, safe working wind speeds, wind speeds for all construction activity and in particular lifting operations, lifting operations and working at height. Let us see the maximum safe working wind speed for all construction activity and in particular lifting operations and working at a height activity is 25 knots. KNOTS. Then it says construction will monitor weather conditions and suspend work. Suspend work when wind speed in excess of in excess of in either cases. Okay, now we have to move a little further on this because we can't stop for permanent here, and that is outrigger. We have to see outrigger, and then we have to see lifting gas. Just a minute. We have to see weather conditions. Sorry, sorry, please. Okay. I said outrigger shall be properly set and locked. Outrigger shall be properly set and locked if a locking device is provided when controlled remotely from cab. Operator would make a physical check to ensure that each pad has an adequate bearing before a load is lifted. You understand that? Outrigger shall be properly. Outrigger shall. Outriggers means these outriggers, these raising points or like jacks, big jacks. These are they will be set properly before stationing crane, and this will be set and locked. If we have a locking device provided in crane, and when controlled from remote or from cab, you can say operator of crane shall make a physical check to ensure that each pad this locking you can say outriggers pad of these each pad has an adequate bearing before load is lifted, bearing on ground or on which surface is standing, bearing before load is lifted. Sound, timber packing or metal plates shall be used under each outrigger pad. Sound timber, strong timber, sound means strong timber, packing or metal plates must be used under each outrigger pad to distribute load. It's essential that outriggers are supported at jacking points and not under outrigger beams. Also, lifting location to be barrier off. After that, then a method statement and job hazard analysis JHA should be provided to engineer for all structural steel erection activity. No structural steelwork erection shall from commence prior to approval of method statement and job hazard analysis by engineers. All structural steel erectors, all structural steel erectors sh- shall be fully conversant with construction methods, sequence and hazard control measures prior to whatever work activity commences. Means they also must have training of that. Now we come to lifting gear. Lifting gear. These people are, I think, foolish and nothing else, just sending some idiotic photos for what I don't understand. I block such people better. Block them. They deserve that blocking. Say, sending naked photos for what I don't understand. Stupid people. Now lifting gear. Lifting gear means lifting gear means chain sling. Chain sling or rope sling or similar gear and ring, link, hook, plate, clamp, shackle, swivel or eye bolt used on work sites. What are these? Lifting gear, chain sling, sling way of chain, rope sling. Sorry, let me put my fan off. My next one. Yeah. So lifting is chain sling, and rope made of chain, one made of rope. Similar gear and ring or link or hook or plate clamp, shackle, swivel or eye bolt used on work site. All lifting gear to be subject to a thorough examination by a competent person from third party at intervals not exceeding 6 months. Identity number and SWL to be checked. Identity number, identity number of year and SW to be checked. Switch gap LW to be checked. Okay. Now in that a wire rope, a wire rope used in raising, lowering or suspension of a load, a wire rope. A wire rope, this I'm just showing Jano, means what we are using is Jano here. A wire rope general specifications this is just for your information. A wire rope used in raising, lowering, or suspension of a load shall not be used if it is kinked. Kinked wire rope cannot be used. Significantly rusted cannot be used. Core is visible to core is visible or rope has visible broken wires cannot be used. And these broken wires or rope has visible broken wires exceeding 5% of total or any length equal to 10 times diameter of rope. This is important. I repeat, wire rope, wire used to raise, lower, or suspend load, not to be used if it is kinked or significantly rusted. Core is visible. Core is visible. All right, then I'm going to say says that core is visible and not to be used if it is kinked, significantly rusted. Core is visible or rope has visible broken wires exceeding 5% of total 5% total or any length equal to 10 times diameter of rope. It will be used. Riggers must check condition of lifting gear prior to each and every lift. Lifting gear that is found to be defective should be removed, must be removed from service and sprayed with red paint to indicate that it is not required to be used. Defective equipment should be out or removed from site, removed from work site. A system shall be established on work site. A system, a system must be established on a work site. Now, okay, a system to be established on work site for storage of all lifting equipment not regular in use. Such equipment shall not be left in work areas. After this is scaffolding. Now let me see what time we have. Already 2 hour 10 minutes gone. If I take up scaffolding, it may be, so let us take the scaffolding for 10 minutes. Now it's items of scaffolding, which is very common. Scaffolding is item which is very common and it's used for all activities. Generally, activities I think all higher activities more than 2 meters or sometimes even less. Generally, I've seen in activities is used not only on concrete shutters, it actually used on every area where some work is required. You say for all scaffolding construction, first of all, scaffolding, is assembled material of various pipes, vertical, horizontal, diagonal, vessel bracing, horizontal pipes, or terms of vertical pipes, or like that, a combination of that, and various types of holdings are there. Generally, cup lock system is used. This previously those coupling systems, so they use props of them. So let's now example is cup lock, which is commercial name, but let's say system means members horizontal and then vertical specific designs, and then other one to support them. So say scaffolding construction activity and dismantling activity, a competent scaffolding supervisor to be appointed. That's very true. The level of training and experience required to determine competence shall vary depending on complexity of scaffolding. Structure, structure to be erected or dismantling industry standards and codes, details, competency requirements. Alright, gentlemen, I'm repeating this. For all scaffolding construction activity and dismantling activity, and construction activity and dismantling activity, a competent scaffolder is what is required to be appointed, a level of training and experience required to determine competence and vary vary depending on complete complexity of scaffolding structure to be erected or dismantling industry. Scaffolding. I'm just imagining something, for all scaffolding construction activity and dismantling activity, competent scaffolding supervisor to be appointed, and level of training and experience required to determine competence must vary depending on complexity of scaffolding structure to be erected or dismantling industry standards and codes detail competency requirements. All employees involved on scaffolding construction activities and dismantling activity should be trained in safe methods. Safe methods. Safe methods of working. Trained in safe methods of working and in particular manner in which manner in which fall prevention or arrest is to be achieved. Contractors shall maintain detailed information of training provided and methods that they have used for assessment of competency and suitability by, you can say, workers. So to think again, Says all employees involved scaffolding, construction activities, and dismantling activities shall be trained in safe methods of working in particular manner which fall prevention of errors to be achieved. Contractors maintain detailed information of training provided and methods that they have used for assessment of competency and stability, stability for all employees, employers. Yes, sir. Okay, now we go to all scaffolding erection and dismantling areas shall be provided with barriers, column and warning signs to exclude all personnel that are not specifically involved with scaffolding, construction and dismantling activity. Where such areas are adjacent to roadways, barriers with a capability to prevent vehicles entering areas shall be erected or dismantling. Then you can say only those people who deal with work on such activities of scaffolding will be allowed. So all scaffolding erection areas and dismantling areas to be provided with barriers and warning signs to exclude all personnel that are not specifically involved with scaffolding, construction and dismantling activity. Where such areas are adjacent to roadways, roadways, barriers shall be barriers barriers with a capability to prevent vehicles entering area to be erected or dismantled. Where where such cranes areas and so I can insta where such areas are adjacent to roadways, barriers, the capacity to prevent vehicles entering area to be erected to be for those dismantling also. Where such areas are adjacent to members of public or third party, then screening and other filling other you know filling object filling object protection to be provided. It says appointed scaffolding supervisor to be made responsible for ensuring that exclusion zones are in place and maintenance at all times whilst scaffolding construction and dismantling activity is ongoing. A little one again say says that where such areas are adjacent to roadways, barriers so to be there is the capability to prevent vehicles entering area must be erected or where such areas are adjacent to member of public or third parties, screening and falling object protection to be provided. Appointed scaffolding supervisor. Appointed scaffolding supervisor is to be made concentrate that Therefore, now let's say appointed scaffolding supervisor. Where such areas are registered to members of public or third parties, then a screening and falling object protection must be provided. Appointed scaffolding supervisor to be made responsible for ensuring that exclusion zones are in place and 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 this maintained at all times. These zones are in place, exclusion zones are in place and maintained all times whilst scaffolding or dismantling activity are ongoing. Now, all materials being used for scaffolding construction to be checked. All materials, because this is different individual members. This is not a product of direct assembly. We have horizontal members, we have vertical members, we have diagonal members possibly, and we have top members, bottom members, and base members. Then top U clamps, then connections. We have so much on that and top, you know, whatever sort of material you need for the site conditions. Yeah. All right. You like sometimes, right? Materials being used for scaffolding construction to be checked prior to them being used to ensure they are in good condition. And whatever materials found to be defective should be clearly marked as defective and discarded or removed from construction area to ensure that they are not used even by mistake. Scaffolding that has been constructed in accordance with design should be inspected for use by displaying green scarf tag to all access points. So whatever scaffolding constructed is there and is constructed according to designs must be inspected for its correctness and a green scarf tag must be provided on that. So that says that's clear. The following information must have the stack at all access points, and first information is unique identification and location of scaffolding inspected. Right? Unique identification and location of scaffolding inspected. Then name of person making inspection. Who is that person? Date that date that inspection was completed, or and intended use and capacity of scaffolding. What is use of this? Required inspection or reinspection frequency for scaffolding. A person making scaffold inspection shall maintain written details of inspection that they have conducted to enable them to verify their tag system, scaffolding tag system. Now, all scaffolding that does not display green scaff tag for use shall be fitted with red scaff tag stating that scaffolding is not fit for use and access points shall be removed or made unsuitable. So you cannot use where red tag is put in. Then now it says that if it is fit scaffolding, there must be a green tag. If it's not fit one, there is a red tag. Means we are going to remove the scaffold, and you can't use that currently. And user of scaffolding shall at all time conduct their work in a manner that eliminates possibilities of falling objects. Now, user of scaffold at times conduct their work in a manner that eliminates possibility of falling objects. User of scaffolding are to be prohibited from altering or dismantling any part of the scaffold. User of scaffolding are required to maintain unobstructed access. Access should be clear. This means is that user of scaffolding are required to maintain unobstructed access and egress at all debris and materials no longer required must be removed from scaffolding on daily basis. All materials and equipment used on scaffolding must be stored in a manner that does not obstruct free movement of people using scaffolding. Okay, just thinking something about this. You know, I said about obstruction or clear access and egress of scaffolding. Daily basis, it should be cleared of every obstruction, everything that's a must. And then frequency of inspection, reinspection of scaffolding every 7 days. Weekly, you can say it must be inspected, reinspected every 7 days. 7 days, or when it's additionally required, and then displayed on given green scaff tag. Users of scaffolds are required to check that period of reinspection has not been exceeded before using the scaffolding. In whatever case, when reinspection has not been exceeded before using scaffolding, where fee where inspection date has been exceeded, user shall request appointed scaffolding supervisor to make its reinspection and to re-sign green tag for use. User shall not access scaffolding until such time as re-inspection has been made. Now, activity, before any dismantling activity is undertaken on scaffolding, it is it shall be removed from use from use. All green scaffolding will be removed and uh, after that, uh, before dismantling activity is undertaken on scaffolding, it will be removed from use. All green scarf tags will be removed and replaced with red scarf tag, which is not fit for use, and all scaffolding access points to be removed or made un- unusable. Then there is hot and cold work. I will take next time is hot work and welding. Now let me see what time is there for today. It's now these messes I'm fed up really. It says 2 hours 30. So I'll start now. Other one, and that is FIDIC. I'm going to start FIDIC now. This will take up tomorrow. FIDIC, I'll start FIDIC 2017 and silver. I'll say silver. Let's start this now. About 1.5 hours. I close this file for the information. I'm closing this file, hot and cold working. This page is 90, 99, 100. So let me close it and go to my friend Silver 2017. Come on, Silver, come on. Silver. EPC turnkey projects. This is this is conditions of contract EPC turnkey projects EPC. This is guidance for preparation of particular conditions and annexes, forms of securities, forms of letter of tender, contract agreement, and dispute adjudication avoidance agreement. Now let's see contents first of all. What contents are? Let us see that. Studio YouTube.com. Journal have now it says contents in this. Again, it is 1 to 21 clauses as it was in our red book. 1 to 21 clauses as it was in red book. Appendix, that is after that is appendix after 21 clauses, that is general conditions of dispute avoidance and disputes adjudication. After that there is an agreement, and after that is annexure, that is DAAB procedural rules, and then index of sub clauses. This is content, guidance for preparation of particular conditions. Then there are contents, the introductory guidance notes. Then particular condition part A, that is contract data. Then particular conditions part B, that is special provisions, and then notes on preparation of tender documents. That notes on preparation of special provisions and particular condition part B, notes on preparation of tender documents, notes on preparation of special provisions, advisory notes to users on FIDIC contracts where project is using building information modeling system. What is written there? Let us say it is that forms of letter. Now, forms of letter of tender, contract agreement, and dispute adjudication avoidance agreement, letter of tender, contract agreement, dispute avoidance, adjust agreement are like that. Now we go to further and we go to acknowledgement. Let us read acknowledgement first of all. FIDIC acknowledgement is better to have this because this is for talking something you should also know. Just brief for you people because it's not necessary, but it's also important to advise or inform what actually it is. Federation International Disengineers, that's councils, FIDIC, that is FIDIC, extends spatial, extends spatial, spatial, special thanks to following persons. Thanks to following persons who's prepared, who prepared, assisted, and contributed in preparation of second edition of FIDIC. These standards, forms of contract, conditions of contract construction, conditions of contract for construction, conditions of conduct for plant and design build, and conditions contract for EPC turnkey projects. For your information, that construction contract means red book and plant and design build means yellow book. Sorry, what was that is the contract EPC is silver book. FIDIC FIDIC contracts committee update special group. With better name, better for respect means Jalton, Jahonai, ZNP Partners, Consulting Engineers, Hungary, Siobhan Fahe, Siobhan Fahe, Consulting Engineer, Ireland, Principal Draft, Christoph, Christoph Theone, GKW Consult GmbH, German, and William Howard, CDM Smith, USA Executive Committee, liaison. Initial update task group, Seventh Paulson, Alcatkins, COWI, Denmark group leader, Aisha Nadar, and Runeland, Sweden, Runeland Law. Wait a minute. This is, and wait, one minute is difficult in percent, but let them say 75, 175 should do it rather than this. So, Renal Law, Sweden, I am not able to say full. Okay. Runeland Law, Sweden, and Task Group Principal Drafter, Robin Sconfield, SMEC, Australia, Task Group Principal Drafter, and and Darko Planner, Darko Plamenek Consulting Engineer, Serbia, Jan Jaipka Consulting Engineer, Germany, and Jalton Jory JNP Partners, Consulting Engineers, Hungary, Contracts Committee, Malaysia. Then second stage update task group. Simon Worley, EIA Limited, UK Group Leader, John Greenhalgh, Greenhalgh Association, Associates, UK, Leo Gruthers, Consulting Engineer, Netherlands, Asha Nadar, Runderland Law, Sweden, William Gordon, Queen's Council UK, Serbian and UK, Slovakian Fahy, consulting engineer, Ireland, Ireland, and Contracts Committee, Liaison, and Chalet Adams, EIA Limited, UK, Secretary to Task Group. Preparation was carried out under general direction of FIDIC Contracts Committee. FIDIC Contracts Committee. Then Philip Jenkinson Atkins, UK, past chairman, Jalton Jehanil, Jed and Pete Partners, consulting engineers, Hungary, chairman Vincent Leon, XC, Qatar. Then, there's ZNP Partners Consulting Engineers, Hungary Chairman Vincent Meloc, Exit Watu, France, Kech Moiler Sweco, Sweden, Simon Fahe, Consulting Engineer, Ireland, Mike Roberts, Mott McDonald, then UK, Des Barry, Consulting Engineer, Ireland, Christoph Anthony, JKW, and US. Then you can say, like that, there are so many more. When so many more, I'm just giving some reference for that. Now, I'm not going to take all names because it's very long. Now, I will like to speak something in addition. What does it say? What does it say? That's very important point. I have to understand this level of light better. Light of better. Okay. Now, this edition of conditions of contract for EPC turnkey projects has been published by Federation International Engineers Council's FIDIC as an update of FIDIC 1999 conditions of contract for EPC oblique turnkey projects, that is called Silver Book First Edition. Along with FIDIC 1999 Red Book Conditions of Contract for Construction and FIDIC 1999 Yellow Book Conditions of Contract for Plant and Design. Build FIDIC 1999 Silver Book in Silver Book has been in widespread use for nearly 2 decades. These conditions of contract for EPC oblique turnkey projects are not suitable for use in following circumstances. Hmm? If there is insufficient time, if there is insufficient time or information for tenderers to scrutinize and check employers' requirement or for them to carry out their designs, risk assessment, studies, and estimating. What it says, these conditions of contract of EPC turnkey projects are not suitable for use in these circumstances, and circumstance states one number that no sufficient time or information for tenders. No sufficient information tenders. If there is no sufficient time or there is no sufficient information for tenders to scrutinize and check employers' requirements or for them to carry out their designs, risk assessment, etc., and estimation, etc., then this condition is not suitable. This document is not suitable. This means there should be plenty of time, there should be sufficient time to conduct these activities. That is one. Other, if construction, if construction involves for substantial work for underground or work in other areas which standards cannot inspect, which standards cannot inspect unless special provisions are provided to account for unforeseen conditions, or what does it mean? If construction involves much work or substantial work below ground, or in other areas where tender cannot inspect, inspection is not accessible unless provisions are made to account for unforeseen conditions. This is another qualification here, another reservation here. Or another one is, if employer intends to supervise closely or control contractors' work, or to review most of construction drawings. This is another condition. If employees say, no, I want to check everything, I want to inspect, I want to supervisory close you, I want to close you with so closely, I want to supervise, I want to check everything, I want to control works, I want to see all of your drawing, then this FIDIC silver book is not suitable. These are three conditions. Condition one is insufficient time. Condition, you have no sufficient time. You have no sufficient time for sufficient information you don't have. You cannot go to see or to inspect what below ground, or in a location which is not accessible to you, or until special arrangements are made for you, or employer seeks everything onto himself. I want to ensure, means employer does not have full confidence in bidder. Now, FIDIC recommends that second edition of FIDIC Yellow Book, condition of contract for plant and design build, be used in above circumstances for works designed by on behalf of contractor. That is Yellow Book, plant and design build. Second edition of Silver Book maintains that second edition of Silver Aspedic Silver Book maintains principles of risk sharing established in 1999 edition, while seeking to build on substantial experience gained from its use over past 18 years. For example, this edition provides greater detail and clarity on requirements for notices and other communications, provisions to address employers' contractors' claims, provisions to address employers' and contractors' claims treated equally and separated from disputes, mechanisms for dispute avoidance. My power has gone. And mechanism for dispute avoidance, and detailed provisions for quality management and verification of contractors' contractual compliance. These four conditions, what are these? Says in this addition, for example, this additions provide specifically Greater detail of clarity, greater detail and clarity, greater detail and clarity on requirements for notices and other communications, provisions to address employers and contractors, claims treated equally and separated from disputes, mechanisms for dispute avoidance, and detailed provisions for quality management and verification of contractors' contractual compliance. These conditions of contract for EPC, that is engineering, procurement, construction, oblique turnkey projects include conditions which are likely to apply to majority of such contracts. Essential items of information, essential items of information which are particular to each individual contract are to be included in particular conditions. Part A, contract data. Again, I read this. These conditions of contract for EPC, engineering, procurement contract, construction, construction, or turnkey projects include conditions which are likely to apply to majority of such contracts. Essential items of information which are particular to each individual contract are to be included in particular conditions part A contract data. In addition, it is recognized that many employers, especially governmental agencies, may require special conditions of contract or particular procedures which differ from those included in general conditions. These should be included in Part B special provisions. It should be noted, it should be noted that general conditions and particular conditions, Part A, contact data, and Part B, special provisions are all part of conditions of contract. Parts of conditions of contract. Then you can say 3 hours. What goes there? 3 hours. Okay, that's fine. All right, let me go this way. Now, to assist employers in preparing tender documents, to assist employers in preparing tender documents and in drafting particular conditions of contract for specific contracts. This published documents includes notes on preparation of tender documents and notes on preparation of special provisions which provide important advice to drafters of contract documents. In particular, employers' requirements and special provisions. In drafting special provisions, it if clauses in general conditions are to be replaced or or supplemented and before incorporating in general conditions are to be replaced or supplemented and before incorporating any example. I repeated this, I divide with that. In drafting special provisions, if clauses in general conditions are to be replaced or supplemented and before incorporating whatever example, wording,
Employers are urged to seek legal and engineering advice in an effort to avoid ambiguity and to ensure completeness and consistency with other provisions of contract. This document begins with a series of comprehensive flowcharts which typically shows in visual form sequences of activities which characterize FIDIC EPC turnkey form of contract. Charts are illustrative, however, and must not be taken into consideration in interpretation of conditions of contract. Publication also includes a number of sample forms to help both parties, employer and contractor, to develop a common understanding of what is required by third party, such as providers of securities and guarantees. Drafters of contract document are reminded that general conditions of FIDIC, all FIDIC contracts are protected by copyright and trademark and may not be changed without specific written consent, usually in form of a license to amend from FIDIC. If drafters wish to amend provisions found in general conditions, place for doing this is in particular conditions part B. Special provisions special provisions as mentioned above and not by making changes in general conditions which are published. FIDIC considers official and authentic texts to be versions in English language. Now, now it is I did because now it's not very much, I have to cut it down like 150. I take it. Okay, let's sequence like this. Now it is now typical sequence of principal events during contracts for EPC EPC turnkey projects. Typical sequence of Typical sequence of principal events during contracts for EPC turnkey projects. Time for completion is to be stated in contract data as in number of days to which is added an extension of time under subclause 8.5 8.5 in order to indicate sequence of events. Diagram is based upon example of contractor failing to comply with subclause 8.2. Defects notification period is to be stated in contract data as number of days to which is added any extension under subclause 11.3. Depending on type of works, tests and completions may also be required. These points actually they are mentioning for data that we have to. These are sequences. There's a time for completion is very important item, and it must be stated in where? It must be stated in contract data in number of days to which whatever extension if it is given in future during currency of contract can be added. Similarly, it says indicate sequence of events. You have to give sequence of events, and there's a diagram which is based upon example of contract failing contract failure to comply with subclass 8.0. Defects notification period is also to be given in number of days, and this must also be stated in contract data. And this number of days, whatever are there, is you can say extension and sub clause 11.3 can be added. So depending on types of bugs, tests can also be conducted and also conducted after completion may also be required. Now, this is a diagram here. I can't you can't see directly in this file, and this is on page 10 of 223. This file is available on URL of Facebook video notes. It's not available on YouTube because YouTube doesn't allow all more than 5,000 words. So for this, you have to refer to Facebook. This Facebook page, sorry, video, go to text of that. There are so many URLs starting with this URL, starting with past video URLs. That is all past video URLs related to the stock, and then there are URLs for safety, and in all this first category there are URLs for many more informations, and there this FIDIC URLs are also given, so you can just look into those URLs, and these URLs refer to this script.com site. I cannot show you this through my through my camera because you are some countries. I'll just speak for you what is this about. That's most important actually. What actually this document says that we have to understand, that's most important rather than thinking of what to do, what not to do. I put 125 now. All right, this is that. The whole document is in my, I think it's in my seat. Now, this is flow chart actually. This is not because a diagram of ours as a flow chart like, and what it's saying, issue of tender document. This is like issue of tender document. Issue means when you buy a tender document or the issue from them, that date, and submission of tender document, issue of tender document day, and submission of tender document day. There are 2 days, right? They release document, then there's a submission date. On this day or before this day, you have to submit your tender or bid. There's a gap. Now, date which is on submission of tender, that day minus 28 days, that day. Let us say it is 28 days. Assume this 28 of that month. This means one first date of that month is 28 days minus. So base date is 28 days minus submission of tender date. That is called base date. That's this one point in this. Also, which is tender period? It says issue of tender document day and closure of tender document day, or submission of tender day same as closure of tender day. When you submit a tender that day, I mean officially you can submit early also, but last day of that submission day is called closure of tender. So gap between issue of tender date and closure of tender date, or closure of tender or submission of tender day, last submission day, this gap is called tender period. Tender period. Then if you go further, there is there is signing contract agreement. One day, signing contract agreement. This signing contract agreement and this signing contract agreement, and you can say there is another day that is called delivery of performance surety. Performance surety. Signing contract agreement and delivery of performance security is less than equal to 28 days. Less than equal to 28 days. There is no mentioning here between submission of tender day and signing of agreement. It's blank here, there's no notation here. This means there's a flexibility. But 28 days or less, this is for signing contract agreement and delivery of performance security or performance bond. Then you come further, there's a commencement date and its article, it's clause 8.1. Commencement day. Commencement day of what? Commencement day of contract. Not tender now. Tender is converted to contract on day when you sign it. That day starts contract commission day or signing day, and that day doesn't mean that is actually commencement date. Commencement date can be before that also, if the acceptance day is that one, or that can be mentioned. So what they say, 8.1, commencement date is there and time of completion date is there. Time of completion is there. So there are two dates. One date is commencement day, another date is completion day, and gap between commencement day and completion day equal contract completion, time for completion. Further you go and see that there is a date of completion. There is a date of completion. There is a date of completion. Because date of completion, time, contract time could not be maintained, or date or extension was granted due to whatever reason. There is a delay on project. There is a delay on contract performance due to, say, contractor's problem or whatever could be problem. There is a delay attributable to contractor. So this completion time, as we said, according to contract, plus delay, which maybe later on we see extension we get or don't get, but now say it is delay. So this completion time, time for completion, plus delay attributable to contractor, total delay last day is called date of completion. After date of completion on that day, you can start another two terms. One is defects notification period. That defects notification period starts on date of completion. Actual completion, not contract completion, means contract completion place delay. So the date of completion actual, and there is a period that's called defects notification period date. So that date of, you know, notification of defects. So defects notification period there. Now you can say issue of performance certificate. Issue of performance certificate. This clause, date of completion clause was 1.1.21, and notification of defects is 11. Then issue of performance certificate is line, which is, you can say, end of remedying of defects, end of remedying of defects. And when issue of performance certificate day comes in, there's another date given, that if you add less than equal to 21 days to issue of performance certificate date, means post 21 days or less, post issue of performance certificate day and see 21 days or equal or less, that day is return of performance security subject to subclause 1111, means 21 day period maximum. It can be returned in lesser days also, but 21 days limit. So means when there's a date of performance certificate issue, after that maximum period of 21 days is allowed to issue or to release performance security subject to subclause 1111 written that. So this is called a flow diagram of activities, contractual targets, contractual points, contractual further management. Then it is typical sequence of payments events initiated in class 14. That was in no independent clause. This was contractual sequences of times. This was now it is the sequences of principal events during contracts or EPC turnkey projects. And now this is typical sequence of payment events envisaged in class 14. Envisaged in class 14. We have to understand that. Sorry. All right, gentlemen. So we go typical sequence of payments now is very important point, because payment is very important. And this is reflection of class 14, which we'll know later on. Because here each of starts with the each of monthly or otherwise interim payment. This is one. Bottom tier is final payment. And let us see what it says. Typical sequence of payment events envisaged in class 14. Now, there is a period that is under class 14.3, 14.6.1. Employer receives contractor's statement and supporting documents. Right? Employer receives contractor's statement and supporting document in that clause, and there is employer gives notice of amount considered due. This is clause 14.6. Both points, both say when employer receives contractor's statement, or you can say payment of contract's bill of valuation. Actually, technically, it's called statement for valuation.